Alrighty. Okay, I'm restarting the stream now again. What the hell's going on right now? What in the world is going on? Okay. Let me see what's gonna happen if I... Okay, I'm gonna go into this video.
In the sky over the northern hemisphere, one of the world's most dramatic seasonal changes begins.
Okay, this is bad. Yeah. Okay, good. I just fixed the problem. Cool. All right. So let's look at the models. Alrighty. Let's look at the model now. So where was I looking? I was looking at here, Vesuvius. So this is what I was looking at basically before everything happened. Looking at wildfire smoke from New York City. So yeah, sorry about that. All right. Teacher was gasping for breath. Oh, essay. No. Okay, let's go here. Let's see. Alrighty.
There's a fog out there, and it's calling you by name. It wants to wrap itself around you. make you forget who you are. But you won't forget. You've got to find your way through that fog, through the unknown. There's only one way.
Maybe a Flaherty slider in there, vary some speeds. Take Chapman's fastball, left-handed, probably would be nice. That Chapman's bill would probably be pretty good. And then a Waino curveball and a Pedro changeup would be pretty devastating.
Trying to think like what's the best combination. If you could do like Greg Maddox's comeback sinker, and then you pair that with somebody with a great
Seattle
slider
AP, the two-game series between the San Francisco Giants and Mariners in Seattle that was scheduled to start Tuesday night was postponed because of poor air.
Might go Trevor Hoffman's changeup.
Home opener last night in Game 1 against the A's. Oakland coming to town, as always, managed by longtime skipper Bob Melvin, coming off back-to-back 97-win campaigns. And last night, Mariners pitching did a nice job. The trio of Simeon, Chapman, and Olson were held 1 for 12. There is an addition tonight. Chris Davis, we're used to seeing him near the top of the order. Not quite the case tonight. He's batting 7th. He has been in an early season slump, magnified by a shortened season. He's 0 for 15 with 7 strikeouts. He's had the last 2 games off. We'll see what he can do here today. He'll begin the series primarily against left-handed starters. Mike, like Yusei Kikuchi up on the mound tonight.
Well, making his second start of the season, the first outing, a bit of a struggle, 3 2/3. Had 4 walks in that outing, 5 earned runs. Fastball velocity was up, those fastball at 96 miles an hour. He'll use a slider, changeup, and occasional curveball.
The defense behind Yusei tonight, Mike, a pretty standard looking infield for the Mariners in 2020. Good to have Nola back behind the plate, Mike, because he was in there last night, but we were curious how that knee would hold up after being behind the dish all night long.
Yeah, I think getting a little bit of time off when he injured his knee in Houston obviously helped because he's back in the lineup again tonight. You have Seager and Evan White on the corners of the infield. Crawford has really played well, not just offensively, but defensively. Shed Long will be the second baseman.
Like, it sounds like for Yusei tonight, one of the things in particular you will be looking for is how often he can get that fastball over for a strike. We know the velocity has been good, but the command.
Yeah, his average fastball in his first outing was 96 miles an hour. Unfortunately, his strike percentage was just at 55%, and that's difficult when you're constantly behind. I think maybe one of the other things we might see from him, though, is maybe use his curveball and changeup early. Try to steal a strike or two against the A's. They're pretty aggressive on the fastball early, and maybe that'll help him get ahead.
Something we heard Scott Service talking about. Our first pitch brought to you by First Tech Federal Credit Union, as Simeon right away having to go to the bat rack. This A's offense has gotten off to a little bit of a sluggish start, which I think, Mike, this is a theme that we will have all season long, is that a sluggish start normally is not.
We have a fun day of baseball in store for you today. A doubleheader against the Oakland Athletics.
Marco Gonzalez, who has had an incredible year thus far for the Seattle Mariners. He'll be making his 9th start of the season, 9th career start versus the Oakland Athletics.
And Semien leads off for the A's against Marco Gonzalez.
What you want to watch for is the superb command of Marco Gonzalez.
A big breaking ball, there you go. There's his 5th walk of the year. And that's the way our ball game begins, and Tommy La Stella is coming up. Ground ball into left for a base hit. And the A's have first and second and nobody out.
Here's right fielder Stephen Piscotty swinging a fly ball down the left field line. On the run, Marmoleos reaches out and he makes the catch. Tagging at second, heading for third, Semien. The throw to Seager offline. Kyle has to go to his right. So now the A's have runners at first and third with one out. Brings up left fielder Mark Canha. Swing and a miss for strike 3. So strikeout number 1 for Marco Gonzalez. That's exactly what he needed, and there's 2 outs for the A's here in the top of the first inning. That'll bring up first baseman Matt Olson. Swing and a foul tip into the glove of Torrens. Hangs onto it for strike 3, and Marco Gonzalez gets himself out of a jam.
Lefty Jesus Luzardo for the Oakland A's, making his 10th appearance, 8th start of the season.
Dylan Moore leads it off against Jesus Luzardo.
Moore swings and misses, blown away by a fastball, 96.
Here's second baseman Ty France.
And that is on the inside corner fastball, ring him up, and France said, wait a minute. Thought that pitch was up.
So back-to-back strikeouts for Jesus Luzardo. 2 outs for the Mariners here in the bottom of the first.
He swung on it, missed off speed away, and down goes Lewis, and Jesus Luzardo. What a start. He strikes out the side in a 1-2-3 bottom of the first.
Now the A's will have runners on at first and third with 2 outs, and now Marco has to take a look at Marcus Semien.
And he swings at the first pitch, lines it into left field for a base hit. Chris Davis will score. The ball gets past Marmoleos, so everybody's going to move up an extra base. The A's have a 1-0 lead.
So now the A's have runners on at second and third with 2 outs for Tommy La Stella. Swinging a ground ball a little wide of
extra base. The A's have a 1-0 lead.
So now the A's have runners on at second and third with 2 outs for Tommy La Stella. Swinging a ground ball a little wide of first, but right there Evan Whitey's got it. Goes to the back for the out on La Stella, and then will retire the side. The A's get the 1 run with 2 outs.
For the Mariners, they have their first hit. That'll bring up Phillip Ervin. Swung on a fly ball, right center field, shallow, long run for Laureano. Goes into a dive, and he makes a great play. Fabulous play by Laureano. Ramon racing into short right center, full out extension, and takes it right off the grass.
Mariners in business here with runners at first and second and 1 away. So here's Ty France.
Swings and pops it up. First base side for Olson. Straddles the line, makes the catch for the second out. Now 2 outs for Kyle Lewis. Swing and a miss, fastball upstairs, some high octane.
6th strikeout for Luzardo as he dances out of trouble here in the third. Sean Murphy, the catcher, going to lead things off for Oakland.
That one is hit very high, very deep, down the left field line, and that baby is gone.
Launch angle check. All aboard. Next stop, Pound Town.
2-0 A's.
The A's have runners at the corners with 1 out now for Marcus Semien. A's would love a crooked number here. Pulled deep to left. A hammer shot off the bat of Marcus Semien. And out it goes into the second deck over the Edgars sign. Bombs away for Semien. A 3-run blow. It's 5-0 Oakland.
Luis Torrens, the catcher, who had a base hit in the second, one of just 2 hits off Luzardo.
Swung on, lifted to right field and deep. Piscotty back racing towards the wall. Makes a leap at the wall. It's off his glove and then off the wall. And it got over the wall. Torrens has a home run off of the glove of Piscotty, and it's a long ball. The first for Torrens in a Mariners uniform. How about that? The Mariners are on the board. It's now 5-1. Luzardo has fanned 7 in the game. He's been excellent. He's allowed 3 hits.
As Jose Marmoleos starts the 5th for Seattle.
Swung on and stroked to center field. This one is smashed deep. Racing back, Laureano looking up, and this one is gone. Solo home run, Jose Marmoleos. And the Mariners inch closer. It's now 5-2 Oakland.
Mariners making some noise, trying to sneak back into the ball game.
A couple of well-struck balls in the setting against Luzardo. Now to bring Kyle Lewis to the plate. Lewis is K twice. He's 0 for his last 13.
Swung on and destroyed to center field. This one is back. It is way back. It is gone. No doubt about it. And the Mariners, just like that, have cut the lead to 1.
Boy, he's pumped too, as well he should be. He hit the daylights out of that ball.
So 2 down, 1 aboard, and that'll bring up designated hitter Tim Lopes. Swinging a fly ball into the gap in right center field. On the run, Laureano. This is going to get down for extra bases. Irvin scores without a throw. And at second, Tim Lopes with his 3rd double. We are even. It's the Mariners 5 and the Athletics 5. Holy smokes. And the Mariners have the bases loaded here in the bottom of the 6th inning. And here comes Kyle Lewis. 3-0 pitch. Up and in, ball 4. A bases loaded walk to Lewis that will force in Tim Lopes from 3rd with a go-ahead run. And there's 2 down for the A's here in the top of the 7th and final inning. He's swinging a ground ball to White at first. He's got it. Steps on the bag, and the ball game is over. The Mariners come back from a 5-0 deficit to beat the Oakland A's this afternoon 6-5.
Okay, let's go now to the Euro. Should be just coming in right now. Oh, come on. Oops. Teddy. Let's go to satellite imagery. Let's go to Teddy right now. Teddy should... Wow, I think Teddy's already a hurricane, guys. I think we'll already have Hurricane Teddy. Yeah, we definitely have Hurricane Teddy already. I'm sorry to say this, guys, but we already have Hurricane Teddy. I mean, there's no way Teddy is a tropical storm with this kind of appearance. I mean, we already have a hurricane on our hands, guys. And it looks like it's moving northwest now. Looks like Teddy is going to go out to sea after all. I would really appreciate if someone could comment, please. Thank you. Let's look at the rest of this documentary in the Little Ice Age.
Tens of thousands starved to death. Just as many fled Europe, hoping to rebuild their lives in America. Across the Atlantic, however, the consequences of Tambora descended with equal ferocity in the United States. In June, 14 months after the eruption, the skies over New England turned icy cold. Temperatures plummeted below freezing, and 5 days of snow fell in the northeast.
And people were just shocked. Normally in June you never had snow, you had rainstorms but not snow, and so people were shocked and wrote in their diaries about what strange weather they were having.
Snow persisted sporadically throughout July and August. Ice formed on lakes in Vermont. Icicles a foot long clung to the eaves of houses, and hundreds of newly shorn sheep froze to death. Each wave of cold destroyed thousands of crops. 75% of America's corn was ruined. Across the Northeast, food shortages mounted, and agricultural prices skyrocketed.
Birds are falling dead out of the sky because it is that cold. This is devastating for farmers, something they cannot recover from, and something that is completely unheard of. At that point, people began referring to this as 1800 and froze to death, or else the year without a summer.
In Europe, the year without a summer forced governments to create new policies of emergency relief. In America, it helped push the nation west.
Things were so bad in New England in the summer of 1816 that there was this spike in the number of people who just gave up. That was it. No more New England, and they moved west. And they have no idea that the cause of this is a volcano that goes off the year before, halfway around the world.
Around 1850, 4 decades after the year without a summer, the Little Ice Age came to an abrupt end. The dramatic shift occurred over the course of perhaps only a decade. Scientists disagree about what natural force was responsible.
In the same way that the Little Ice Age was probably fundamentally caused by a reduction in the amount of radiation that the Earth gets from the sun, when it ended in the late 19th century, that occurred at a time when the sun started putting out more energy.
The end of the Little Ice Age was caused by fewer volcanic eruptions during that period, but also industrialization and anthropogenic pollution caused by greenhouse gases.
The end of the Little Ice Age, I think, was caused by the same thing that brought the previous 10 cycles to an end, that it's a natural fluctuation, and I think it's the ocean.
Some scientists believe that the oceanic conveyor, the powerful flow that transports heat to northern latitudes, oscillates in strength. That the most recent weak cycle of the conveyor caused the Little Ice Age, and that the most current, strong cycle, still continuing today, brought it to an end. With the forces underlying the Little Ice Age uncertain, questions remain. Will another ice age strike? When? And what devastating effects might it have on humanity? A recent report commissioned by the Pentagon may be an alarming blueprint of the future. "150 years have passed since the end of the Little Ice Age. Climate and humanity alike have been transformed. A cool, agrarian world of 1 billion is now a warming, mechanized planet teeming with over 6 billion. Global temperatures are rising faster than at any time in the past 1,000 years. According to the United Nations Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Changes, the mercury could shoot up as high as another 10 degrees Fahrenheit by the end of the century. Most climatologists agree that today's rapid warming has been triggered by man. Decades of burning coal, gas, and oil have overloaded the atmosphere with carbon dioxide, which traps the sun's heat that would otherwise radiate into space, creating the so-called greenhouse effect. The consequences of continued global warming are still uncertain. Many believe higher temperatures will trigger more intense droughts. Hurricanes may multiply because they draw their energy from warm ocean water. And floods may increase due to rising sea levels caused by melting polar ice. As devastating as these scenarios could be, some scientists believe global warming could trigger the most catastrophic result of all: an ice age. They theorize that the same process that may have caused the Little Ice Age is repeating itself. They believe the heat is melting Arctic ice and flooding the North Atlantic with fresh water. This threatens to shut down the oceanic conveyor that warms the Earth.
We have a paradox in climate, and that is that warming can lead to cooling. If we continue warming, the Earth in the business as usual mode. If we did freshen the surface of the North Atlantic enough, we might precipitate a climate change, something like what happened during the Little Ice Age.
We can think of this freshening trend as a stroll towards a cliff in the fog. We don't know exactly where we're going. We don't know where the edge of the cliff is. And some of my colleagues think that we could go into an abrupt cooling state in a matter of decades.
This recent theory represents a new twist to the possible consequences of global warming, but many scientists reject it.
I disagree with the climate researchers who have said that global warming could trigger a new little ice age. I don't believe that the thermohaline circulation is going to slow down drastically in the next century. And I also believe that even if it does, its impact on the temperature around the North Atlantic in Western Europe, for example, is relatively modest. And the warming that is going to occur simply because of the rising amount of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere will overwhelm any cooling. So in net, it's going to warm in that region, not get colder.
As the scientific community debates the issue, a troubling question looms. What consequences would an abrupt cooling have on 21st century civilization?
If we look at all of that's happened in the last 2 centuries, all of the development, both in this country and globally, it's all been within the context of people being used to what their natural climate is like. In other words, they have a certain range of expectations for summers and winters and what the average climate is. Someone once told me, you know, it's not the fall that kills you, it's the sudden change in direction. The process of being thrown in one extreme or another, that's different from what you're used to. It's that change in adaptation that causes.
The Pentagon scenario for the future is based on an actual climate event from the past. 8,200 years ago, temperatures dropped 9 degrees Fahrenheit for about a century. The abrupt cooling was minor compared to the last major ice age 15,000 years ago, but more severe than the Little Ice Age. The Pentagon scenario begins by plunging the Earth into the same frosty environment. Cooling was minor compared to the last major ice age 15,000 years ago, but more severe than the Little Ice Age. The Pentagon scenario begins by plunging the Earth into the same frosty environment. Cooling was minor compared to the last major ice age 15,000 years ago, but more severe than the Little Ice Age. The Pentagon scenario begins by plunging the Earth into the same frosty environment. Cooling was minor compared to the last major ice age 15,000 years ago, but more severe than the Little Ice Age. The Pentagon scenario begins by plunging the Earth into the same frosty environment. Within a decade, nations are rapidly drained of food, water, and energy resources critical to national survival. In Europe, skirmishes erupt between neighboring states over access to shared rivers and oil reserves. The chill spawns a new world disorder, and one superpower mobilizes its resources, trying to stabilize it.
The U.S.'s role as a global cop will get much bigger than even today. There's a potential for conflict, there's going to be a need for huge movements of food, and only the U.S. has the logistical
order. And one superpower mobilizes its resources, trying to stabilize it.
The U.S.'s role as a global cop will get much bigger than even today. There's a potential for conflict.
Power mobilizes its resources, trying to stabilize it.
The U.S.'s role as a global cop will get much bigger than even today. There's a potential for conflict, there's going to be a need for huge movements of food, and only the U.S. has the logistical capacity, the military capacity, to act as kind of the cops under those circumstances, to help assure order and to manage those relief efforts in behalf of the global community.
According to the Pentagon scenario, however, America faces its own crisis. As the cold, dry climate persists, famine intensifies in the nations neighboring its southern border. The starving and the displaced begin a massive migration towards the United States.
One can imagine literally many tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, perhaps even millions of refugees coming on our shores from particularly the Caribbean and Central America. But there's another weirder scenario, you know, where people in the Southwest find it better to head south, where the conditions in the southwestern United States are so bad, and maybe they need to go into Mexico and Central America. You know, hard to predict. So the question of the transparency and polarity of our border will be an important question.
One of the most volatile flashpoints in the Pentagon scenario is China. Here, the cold climate triggers famines that kill millions and also drains the nation's energy supplies. A civil war erupts in the most populous nation on Earth. At the same time, China's army threatens to invade Russia to seize its rich reserves of natural gas. And its navy confronts the United States in the Persian Gulf over access to Saudi Arabian oil.
Many of the same effects that I'm describing for China will also be true for India. And now you take into account Pakistan, where it could also be very true, and suddenly you have a devil's brew of 3 nuclear-armed countries, all potentially struggling over shared water supplies, access to water, food, and so on, and you have all of the makings for serious conflict. It's not at all implausible that these are the conditions under which nuclear weapons might be used.
Could a 21st century ice age actually ignite this apocalyptic chain of events? Critics of the Pentagon's report brand it alarmist fantasy. Others contend it raises issues too profound to ignore.
If we're not prepared for this scenario, it increases the likelihood of conflict. That's what I'm most worried about. I think a great deal more research needs to be done. We need to really understand the dynamics of abrupt climate change. We need much better data, much better models, much more support for the research, and then a really aggressive debate within the scientific and policy communities about how urgent the priority of this is.
The future is uncertain for millions of young Americans facing a competitive job market.
This summer, I'll be heading to Europe for about a month and a half. Don't worry, I'll still be trying to make videos the whole time, but I've never been, and temperatures cause the ocean water here to evaporate much faster than they would further north. As the water evaporates, it leaves the salt in the water behind, and therefore the remaining water becomes highly concentrated in salt. Now, having more salt in your water does 2 things. First, it makes it taste horrible, and second, it makes the water more dense. This dense water doesn't sink, however, because it's warm, which works to counterbalance the high salinity, making it more or less of regular density here. But as it travels up the American coast towards Europe, as I said, it loses its heat to the surrounding land, itself becoming colder. The colder the water becomes, the more dense it becomes as well. But also, another thing begins to happen here too. Some of this water travels far enough north to become Arctic sea ice.
Okay, we got Hurricane Teddy now, guys. We now have Hurricane Teddy. Yep, Teddy's definitely moving northwest now. Okay, the Europeans should just be coming out now. Yep, 969 millibars. Wow. Let's go satellite imagery. Oops, again. Darn it. Okay. Okay, let's look at this now. let's look at this circulation right now. So this is the center of what is still considered to be Tropical Storm Teddy, which I believe now is Hurricane Teddy. I mean, here's why. I mean, here it looks like a tropical storm. You could tell it's not very well organized, but then look what happens. I mean, it still doesn't look like a true hurricane, but it's already got a little pinwheel eye there. Let's look at shortwave visible imagery. Looks like there's a little glitch there. Let's see. Yeah. But you can see there's an eye now. Look. We have an eye. Look at that. We now have an eye, so this has the hallmarks of becoming a major hurricane, basically. Alrighty, so now let's look at the European. Alright, so let's look now. Let's go North Atlantic, and let's look at the Mesopi anomaly. Alright. So still going west-northwest. Let's compare this to last night. Last night it was here, and now it's about here. So a little bit further south and west. Oh look, we just got a new update. Let's compare it. Okay, so over here. Again, a little bit further west, just a little bit. Also a lot stronger, if you ask me. Also the high pressure system is stronger. Also the storm looks like it's further along now. I don't know what that's going to do, but perhaps, I don't know, okay. You have a stronger high, 1028. It's a little further west. I don't know what that's going to do, but does not make many sense here. Okay, that's just an ad. Okay, let's go back to the ensembles. Of course, this one's going to go out to sea. Well, that's a really strong storm right there. Okay, let's look at the rep. Okay. That's a remnant. That's a remnant of. Well, that's going to actually be Joseph. Yeah, Josephine, if you believe it or not. Okay, let's reset this now. Yep, we now have an eye developing. Alrighty. Oh wow, a lot further west of this run. In the last run it was here, right? And this run it's here, and if you compare this run from last run, further west here, and even further west here. So this could be trouble. This could be major trouble. Guys, this could be really bad because let's look here. Storm was further east, further west here, and now it's further east here. So and because it's further east, it means this could potentially prevent the storm from going out. 2028 here, 2029 here. Okay. 2031, an almost non-existent high pressure system here, and then boom, really strong high pressure system. 2031. Let's go here. 2029, almost non-existent. And here you have 1031 high, and here almost non-existent, like much weaker high. Okay, let's look now at the infrared satellite imagery again. Okay. Wow. Poor Vicky is literally being shredded apart. Wow. Poor Vicky. Yep, Vicky's being shredded apart by the remnants of, Vicky's being shredded apart by Hurricane. Vicky's being shredded apart by Teddy. Like, completely just shredded apart. I mean, look at this. Just blasted. It's just being blasted by Teddy. It's just being sandblasted. Still cold air loft, though. This is Karina. This is in the Pacific. Wow. Karina is almost nothing. Of course, Paulette, they're showing that it actually could reform. Blam. Blam. Almost looks like a cold front passed through, doesn't it? When you look at all these clouds. And 65 millibars. Well, 80 knot winds. $82. Very close to Category 2 winds. Very close. Yep. Teddy's becoming a hurricane, guys. Yep. Okay, let's see where this is going to be now. Wow. Quite a bit further west, guys. This is really bad. This is really bad. Okay. So, I mean, you see this here. I mean, this could very well fill in, and the storm might just go like do something like this. I don't know, but and look at this, an almost non-existent area. I mean, look at this, guys. See? It's almost saying turn north, turn north. And here, let's look here. Let's look here. Let's look right over here. See what we see here for the last run. A much stronger system here. And here it's almost non-existent. I mean, completely non-existent. Look at this. It's almost like this high pressure system just wants to fill in. It really looks like this high pressure system wants to like just close itself up. I mean, let's look here, right? Let's look here. See how the high pressure system is oriented? I mean, you do have a path that it might take, but here's the thing. Usually, here's what's going to happen. The storm might try to pinwheel around itself. So the storm might pinwheel around itself like this. See this section right here? Will probably try to go down and the storm will need to go up. Like a little bit of a Fujiwara effect. So here you have this tropical storm. A piece of its energy will break off, and then the storm itself will basically be here. So, yeah, this is Teddy. So Teddy might go out to sea, or it might slam the East Coast really bad. And we might end up getting a hurricane slamming the East Coast. I mean, I'm the first one to say this, but we could potentially be getting a hurricane coming very close to the East Coast. I've got to reset this now. Alrighty. Aircraft reconnaissance, aircraft reconnaissance. Finding pressures 965 millibars, that's very low. And almost going west-northwest. Like, so, okay. Going from having a high pressure system over here, trying to guide the storm northward, to having one being here. I really don't think there was a track like this. I mean, This is a completely different animal now, guys. I mean, all right. Okay. Well, live stream. Let me check my temperature right now. Yeah, that's good. All right. So while I'm waiting for the European to load, I'm going to check some cars out. Chevy, Impala. To produce electric vehicles. Isn't that cool? Wow. Cherry Trailblazer. Alrighty, let's go back to the Euro now. Okay, so you see how we have a high pressure system here. The storm should be probably over Bermuda by this point. You've got to be kidding me. You have got to be freaking kidding me, guys. Oh my god. This is really bad. This is bad. This is bad, 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 bad. This is going to hit right into the East Coast. Or at least... Okay. Come on, man. This is looking mighty scary, guys. Holy crap, this is scary. This is scary. This is really scary. Oh my god. Yeah, this is really scary. Yeah, this is really scary, guys. Yeah, this is really bad, guys. This is really, really bad. See, it's almost going west. It's almost saying, coming to me, coming to me. tropicaltidbits.com/analysis/models. tropicaltidbits.com /analysis/models $model equal ECMWF and region ? MSLPA. Okay, let's look now. Okay, that is weird. That is just weird. Okay, that's just okay. Why are you showing a... Yeah, that doesn't make any sense to me. Yeah, that's what doesn't make any sense. Okay, so your storm's going west, right? The cold front is now non-existent, right? Something's telling me this storm is going to pull a Sandy. Yeah. How is it going to pull a Sandy? It's going to basically make a left-hand hook like this. I mean, it's going to have to. I mean, look. You're having a very weak high-pressure system here, and it's still going due north. And look how much further west it is here. I mean, the northeast is getting east winds. I mean, okay, usually when you're getting east winds with a cyclone, it would be somewhere over here. This is really bad, guys. Yeah, see this here? This would tend to go west, this would tend to go east. Plus you got a really strong blocking high. This is not going to go north, guys. This is going to go west. This is going to force the storm to go west. You cannot be going east, north, with this kind of high pressure system here. I mean, you just cannot. This defies all logic. It literally would likely just, okay. So likely you get a storm that would be here. You get a high pressure system over here. You know, maybe you would get something like this, but just, this is just weird. This is just weird. I mean, look. Look. You got 1,032 high, guys. 1,032 millibar high pressure system here. You're not going to be getting, you know, the storm going due north with this kind of high. It's just not plausible. It's just not plausible. It's just not. Yeah, it's just not plausible. Okay. So let's look at other dynamics. Let's look at 800, right? Okay, right? You got a really strong high pressure system here, right? This just doesn't make any sense. Okay. This just doesn't make any sense. I mean, look. Okay, this just doesn't make any sense. Let me reset this now. Okay, Hurricane Teddy. Yes, we now have Hurricane Teddy. It is official. We have a hurricane now. Yeah. Okay. Let's look at Sally instead, alright? Looks like Sally. Ooh, we got an eye. We got an eye. We got an eye. Yep, we're starting to get a symmetrical eye now. This is not good. Yeah, this is bad. Alright, I'm gonna be looking us. Okay, we've got tornado warnings now, guys. We have tornado warnings in Panama. No debris, thankfully, so. Oh my god, the eye wall is already coming ashore. Oh no. Gulf Shores, Alabama is getting slammed right now. Oops. I'm going to check my temperature again. Last checked it was 98.7, which is good. And well, it's coming ashore just southeast of Mobile, Alabama. So now let's look at the euro, right? All right. I mean, where's this going to be? Probably going to be making landfall somewhere in Nova Scotia based on the model. I mean, I know. Oh my God. Oh, we have a U.S. landfall in Maine. Probably as a minimal hurricane. Okay, this is not good. And yeah, Teddy does have a landfall. Thank you all for everything, everyone, and good night. And we do have a U.S. landfall with Teddy. Well, with this run of the European, not yet. Thank you all, everyone. We are about to get a landfall shortly with Hurricane. Yeah, we're about to get a landfall with Hurricane Sally. Let's look at the winds aloft. We're closer to the surface. Oh crap, we've got winds of about, let's see, at about 3,000 feet. We've got winds of about 120 miles an hour. No, those are about Category 3 winds. Jesus Christ. Poor Gulf Shores. Okay, let's look at now the European. Alright guys, everyone, I'm about to end the stream. Thank you all for watching, and all good night.